Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Energetic Business Pulse podcast. My name is Dana Kovacic. I'm your host, and I'm here to help you build a thriving business around a life you love, not the other way around. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work, that you're stuck on a hamster wheel, constantly moving but never moving forward? Or perhaps like your business is draining you instead of fueling your dreams. I've been there, and let me tell you, it doesn't have to be this way. Every Tuesday, I'll bring you inspiration, insights, and actionable strategies to help you align with the pulse of your business so that you can step into your power as a leader, build bold as fuck confidence, and create a life that gets you banked and balanced. Get ready, because the podcast starts now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Energetic Business Pulse. My name's Dana Kovacic, and I'm your host for today. And we have an incredible special guest, Amanda Sanders. She is a multi-7-figure business owner who has 3 businesses. And I've brought her on the show today because she's such an inspiration to myself. I know she'll inspire you as well. And to listen to her journey from where she was to where she is now is just incredible. So thank you so much, Amanda, for joining us today.
You're welcome, Dana. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here, to be honest.
Me too. We had a conversation a few months ago and I just could not wait to get you back.
Well, thank you.
Amanda, introduce yourself. Share a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Oh, gosh. I am Amanda Sanders. I am amazing at everything that I do, basically. So I started a very long time ago in nursing, and I came over to Australia 17 years ago. Worked, very difficult to get work. So I worked as a receptionist, would you believe? And then my son's mother-in-law asked me to start a business because her son had cerebral palsy and she wasn't happy with the supports he was getting. I poo-pooed her for a while because I was a stay-at-home mom looking after my daughter at that time. And she came back to me a week later in tears saying, Mandy, please, I know what your background is. I'd been in nursing a very long time, but I'd also been in compliance. And I'd started businesses for other people when I was in the UK, but I also went in and helped them to grow the businesses and make them compliant. So I made a lot of business owners extremely wealthy over in the UK. So she knew what my background was and asked me if I could start my own business. And because she was crying and I'm a soft touch and I had difficulties with boundaries at that point in my life, the universe decided that this was what I was going to do. So within a week, I'd started my main business, which is disability supports, Spirituality. I'd got everything that I needed, and I'd got 3 team members already working with me. At no point was I going to work as a support worker. That wasn't my plan. I was always going to work on management of it. But my plan was that I was going to leave it to a team to manage as quickly as I can, because I'm now 58. I'll be 59 this year. And the thought of working so hard, because owning a business isn't easy. It's really hard work. And I was literally head down, bum up for the first 2 or 3 years. Initially, probably because I was not in alignment with my values. I was sabotaging my business and it wasn't being successful within the first 18 months. And I went and saw a mentor on a stage and I signed up with that mentor and was coached. And within a very short period of time, my business then started growing 25% every month.
Wow.
To the point where initially I was in the low hundreds turnover. And by the end of, say, 18 months, I was up towards 4.5 mil turnover a year.
Well done.
Very short space of time. It just grew.
Well done.
And that was a mindset shift, Dana. I also own a cleaning business. My son started that for me. He's now working with me. He runs the business along with my managing director. And I have a coaching business of my own because I get bored very easily, and I love supporting other people to achieve what they don't believe they can achieve. And I know that they can. And I'm very good at helping them to make sure that their mindset shifts, their life changes, their goals are more attainable, because people tend to set monetary goals that are massive. Whereas if we break that down, which is what I do, and you assess exactly what lifestyle are you wanting to achieve, what are you aiming for, because you don't need that much money to actually achieve the lifestyle that you want.
Right.
So that's what I help them to work out. So yeah, that wasn't in a nutshell, but that's me.
I love that nutshell. The Amanda nutshell. It's awesome. Isn't it incredible? Thank you for sharing that. Isn't it incredible? I'm going to rewind to you didn't have a business. You were pressured into having a business from a friend. And thankfully, how thankful or grateful are you for that friend to be on this journey? Because sometimes we do need that push from external to start a business.
Yeah. I'd always wanted to do something, because I wanted to be a mum that was hands-on with my children, and I taught them at home. They were homeschooled in the end for a while as well. So I was always trying to work out what was it that I could do, what business could I do from home. And I think I know I have in my past suffered with, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not capable, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm an imposter. Everybody will see through me. This isn't going to happen. This isn't for me. I'm always destined to live this little life that I'm living. And the universe pokes you and keeps poking you, and then it starts throwing stones at you, and it goes round and round, this loop in your head that just won't shut up.
Yes.
Actually, it threw a rock at me, and I had no choice.
Do you know what? How great is that, though? I love it when we get the whispers in our mind. The whispers do not go away until we get. I like to call it a butterfly, a brick, or a bus. Sometimes that it just smacks you, and it's like, well, I'm going to give it a go, and there's such a relief in giving it a go, even though it's an entrepreneurship is such a challenging journey. I would love to dive a little bit into, because I know that you do such a great job of managing your business without having to work in it. Can you share some advice or insights on business owners that are perhaps working in their business that want to step out and work on it?
I am a recovering control freak.
Yes.
And I'm the only one who knows how to do anything properly. So I literally made myself, like with my children, allowing them freedom and to grow up and make their own mistakes and follow their own path. I did the same with my team and my business. I literally cut the cord and walked away, and I wasn't enabling them to be inadequate, because when you're there, your team comes to you and is constantly asking you questions and how to do things, and more often than not, as a control freak, you tend to just do it because it's quicker than showing them or directing them or telling them or whatever. So I literally, when they came to me, Mandy, how do I, Mandy, this is going wrong, Mandy, I literally said, what would you do? Go away and do that then. And allowed them to make their own mistakes. I made so many mistakes as I learnt how to be a business owner. Nobody goes into owning businesses knowing everything. There's just too much. And a lot of the time, I tend to delegate everything. There's not a lot I don't know, and I'm not brilliant at all of it. I know a lot, but I delegate to the experts.
Okay.
That's how your business is going to grow. And initially you think, I can't afford that. But if you don't do it, your business isn't going to grow and you're never going to afford it. So a lot of the time I literally closed my eyes and let the team make their mistakes and delegated things within the business to make it grow, knowing I haven't got the money to do it, but that I had to do that. And my team are still learning. They are a young team. They're in their early 30s and they're still learning. And they are running a multi-million-dollar business pretty much on their own with me.
Incredible
strategy, because I trusted them. And I also gave them ownership. So they have percentage ownership of the business. So they're more indebted into making it succeed because it's their baby.
I love that so much. And you've touched on a few things here, which is incredible. It's, often we can be the fixer, the one that everyone goes to, and then we get stuck in a cycle of always being the fixer. And, what I've found I trust, I'd love to know if you found this too when working with business owners, that sometimes they can get addicted to being needed to be the fixer. Have you found that?
It's an innate need in humans to be needed, especially nurturers,
Yes.
people like us who are people. So to cut yourself off from being needed is like cutting off being fed, because it feeds something within you to be needed all the time, and you feel quite bereft at first because it's gone. You have to fill that void with something else, because to be needed by everybody in your life is not healthy. It's a human thing that we've developed that's not a healthy need at all. For everybody to want to ask us advice, for us to want to be there as opposed to being needed, that is such an important distinction.
And life-changing, because like you said, if you're always going to be the fixer, if you're always there, it's disempowering your team to think for themselves. Yeah. And it's disempowering your dream of, if you're wanting logically all these millions of dollars or the lifestyle that you want, you're not going to get there by being needed in the business.
No, and you're empowering your team not to get there either. I want my team to be really successful and wealthy, not so much monetary wealthy. People attach money to wealth, and it's not. Wealth is
so much more than that.
Oh, so much more than that. And supporting people to understand wealth and not money is so empowering and life-changing. Because they stop chasing the dollar and start to chase the lifestyle, start to chase the wealth in their lives, seeing the wealth that they already had. We are the richest culture in the world, and yet we still believe that we are poor. We're not. We don't need a lot at all. Humans, unfortunately, seem to have been conditioned to want more and more stuff in their lives, stuff that is a representation of how successful they are, the big house, the big car, the fancy.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
And don't get me wrong, I've got a really nice car.
Of course.
But I don't have everything else anymore. And that's only just recently occurred when I've realized that the chasing of status and stuff is on the hiding to nowhere, and you're never going to be happy. I am really happy now, and I haven't got a lot of stuff in my life at all.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's so common, especially in these days where we get FOMO, we want things instantaneously. Like, if it doesn't happen in the moment, it's never going to happen. And like you said, we attach success. I was just having this conversation this morning where we either have like a state or a goal. So a goal would be to be financially free or to have the lifestyle. And to feel successful is a state that we can feel right now with what we have. And quite often we have rules that are so hard. I'll be successful when, I'll be happy when, and it doesn't come.
No, you have to be successful now, and you have
Yes.
to, anyone that owns a business right now is successful.
Yes. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of courage. I call business owners, we're crazy mofos because we have delusional belief in a dream that no one else can see but us. And I don't believe in the word small business. I don't even like saying it because there's nothing small about it.
Business, and it's massive. It takes over your whole life, your whole being. Everything about you is literally, and you even identify as a business owner. It's something that people need to rectify. Yes, I own a business. That is not how I identify. I am not a business owner. I am Sandra Sanders, and I happen to own businesses. But
yes, what a shift! What a shift! Because business is not us. It's something that we choose to do. And often I got caught in this trap of being a hair salon owner. So when I shifted business and when I had two businesses, it was so confusing in my mind to think of, am I a coach or am I a salon owner? And I'm Dana and I can have whatever I want. I can, do what I want in terms of my career, my pathway. And I love that you've shared that because a lot of people create a life around their business instead of a business around a life they love.
Yeah, it becomes their identity, and they attach everything to that identity. And when that identity goes, they feel less than, and they shouldn't feel less than because you are you, and that's it, full stop. Yes, you have children, so you are a mother, but ultimately you are yourself, and you happen to be a mother.
Yes.
You be a wife, or you happen to be a friend, but that's not your identity. And I think so many people label themselves in that way and fail to actually look after themselves and understand exactly who they are, what are my dreams and aspirations. They put themselves either second or last rather than first. And as individuals, we need to be putting ourselves first in order to then be our absolute best for us, who is our immediate, closest loved ones, and then every other bugger in the world.
Absolutely. And we're not often taught that though, are we?
No.
From a younger age, it's put everyone else first. Yeah.
That's a completely different subject altogether. I'll go right.
Do you know what? The education system has a lot to answer for because, what once worked, people are waking up, kids are waking up, and to even the degree where they're not allowed to use AI for school. And I use AI every day for my business, right? So why are we trying to chop off their hands to learn and expand?
Exactly. I know that the new generation is going to be completely different because they aren't going to accept it anymore. My kids are way ahead of every other child in the world. My children didn't accept the box that society was trying to put them into, possibly because of their mum. And children that are coming through now, my grandson, for example, he's 2 years old. There's no way he's going to go to school.
No.
It's not going to happen. And yes, I acknowledge that the majority of society adheres to their conditioning and adheres to the rules of society's norms. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's very difficult to push outside of those boundaries and outside of the rules and regulations of society. It takes a very specific type of nutter, a bit like me,
Yes,
to do that. But there's more and more and more and more of us that are actually thinking, and is this what we're supposed to be doing? Is this how our lives are supposed to be? And more often than not, the answer is going to be no. If you're not happy and there's something wrong, reassess.
Such great advice. And we often get caught in that box as business owners too, how we think business is supposed to be or how we think we need to be as a leader. And we can make our business whatever we want, can't we?
Pretty much. There's so many people advising and showing and teaching and telling us how to be as business owners, how to be as mothers, how to be as wives and friends and girls, whatever. We're being told and labeled constantly. And ultimately, there is only one of you, and you are not going to do anything the same way as anybody else.
Yes.
Yes, there are rules and regulations surrounding us. There's nothing we can do about that, and we can adhere to them. And you can be the leader that you are. You're not going to be any kind of leader that you can label, because you are your own leader, and you do it very differently to everybody else. You interact with your team in a very different way to anybody else. It's your unique way of leading. You don't have to label yourself.
I love that. And that's what makes us special in our own right in each of our businesses. The more authentic we can be for ourselves, the more authentic our leadership is. That's what attracts people. That's why you're so successful and leading a team. And I love that you've created a system. You know, these days, people need to feel like they belong to something bigger than themselves. And for you to give them a share in your company, that's making it their baby, right? That's incredible.
Yeah. I think a lot of business owners are scared to give away their business, give away shares, give away money. They're too attached to money, and they possibly have money issues surrounding conditioning from when we were young. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and money doesn't grow on trees. And
yeah.
so I had in my past real money problems, and overcoming that type of conditioning is really difficult. There's not a lot of money in the world for a lot of people. And the truth is, it's abundant. Money's easy to come by. It's not difficult to get, but we've been conditioned to believe that it is. So we're constantly chasing money, 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 which is why we won't give it away. Whereas if you gave it away and empowered your team to have ownership of a very small portion of your great big business, which you don't need all that money in anyway, you're going to pay them. And they're only going to get it if the business grows. They get the dividends if the business grows. So if the business doesn't grow, they don't get
it.
So you're not giving anything away. You're actually allowing the energy to flow, and the cash flows. You have to allow it to flow. If you put a block on it and keep it to yourself and covet it horrendously and lock it in a vault like Duck McScrooge, whatever his name was, then you're going to have lots of money, but you're not going to be wealthy. You're not going to be successful. You're just going to be very sad and lonely.
Isn't that so true? It's, it's accumulating it. I think Tony Robbins says, I always get stuck at this quote. It's, if you don't worry about making money or something like that, you haven't given enough away. And, it's about making money, but it's what do we do with that money? How can we make an impact? And by not even giving it away, by giving it a purpose to grow and expand other people's lives, that's the energy we'll get in return tenfold.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I've had a few people in my business, in my team, say to me that I'm running the business wrong, and that it's going to fail because there's not enough money. There's not enough money. There's not enough money. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. And I haven't failed once. Yes, it's been tight at times, and I've got money, business loans. There's no business my size I know that doesn't have a business loan, and some people don't want to do that because they're like, I've got to pay it back. Yes, but you need to get business loans in order to grow.
Yes.
You have to do that. And people are so scared of borrowing money and having to pay it back because it to them, it's like failure. It's not.
It's support.
You need to put money into your business to help it to grow.
100%. 100%. And, just being brave enough to be like, hey, I need that support. I call debt support. I need that support to give me cash flow. Cash is king in business, isn't it?
Yeah. You need cash flow. I've recently been coaching a lot of my business owners with profit first, barefoot investor type ways of managing money, because it's like the old school, and sometimes old school works.
Yes.
And when we were younger, we had envelopes with our money in, and that envelope went for that, and that envelope went for that. Whereas now we've got bank accounts with money in, and Barefoot Investor, or the Profit First book by Mike Michalowicz, I think his name is. Amazing. If you can set up your business, yes, initially you're going to be borrowing from Peter to pay Paul in order to the bank accounts, but eventually you're going to be in a position where you're in profit, and you have profit, and you've got enough money all the time, including if the shit hits the fan account. And these are the things that business owners don't think about. You have to have the cash there. The cash flow has to be flowing, and you have to manage it effectively in order for it to do that.
Oh, I love that. You love that. This is what I go through with my clients too. We set up the buckets, and that's another skill, right? There's so many skills in business. There's business skills, leadership skills, finance skills, and it's finding systems that are so simple. Simple doesn't always equal easy, but the simple systems work, don't they?
Yeah, they really do work. We've made everything way too complicated, and there's no need. I always support everybody to go back to basics.
Yes.
Understand. Business owners tend to be scared of their numbers because they don't understand accounting numbers, and they're always chasing cash, and they don't like the accountant because the accountant actually tells them they're running at a loss instead of running in a positive. But if you understand your numbers well enough, you know what to move, you know what to change. If you charge my clients, say, 5 cents for each different product that I'm giving them, an extra 5 cents, which they're not going to notice, then that can add another 100K to your bottom just by doing that. So you need to be able to understand the numbers in order to project. Is this business actually viable for a start? If it's not, how can I make it viable? But if you don't know your numbers, you don't even know if you're viable or not. So you're wasting all this time in this business that may not actually right now be viable. And you just need to tweak it, and it will become extremely successful.
And that's where thank you for sharing that, because so often I was in this boat too, didn't know my numbers, was working hard like a hamster on a hamster wheel. And my thought was, if I just worked harder, money will come. And it just doesn't. And this is why a mentor and coach is so important, to take the blindfold off.
Yeah, it really is. I've changed massively in the last 5 years. I did a lot of personal development prior to this, but the last 5 years, I really have done an awful lot of personal development. And the majority of my investment has been in myself. So I've spent an awful lot of cash on myself in order to improve my mindset, improve my knowledge base. And it's been through coaching and mentoring and doing courses, especially courses on overcoming my mindset. So even spiritual type courses and breath work, sound healing, spinal energetics, lots of work on my blockages and my conditioning and the blocks and traumas that I've allowed to keep repeating themselves over and over again that need to be dealt with, because the circle's not change, it's just on repeat constantly. You need to change something in order to close that loop, because the loop remains open and you keep repeating the same patterns over and over again and the same beliefs over and over again until you've actually dealt with it. And your unconscious mind is such a clever bloody thing. And I didn't realize how bloody clever it was until I started doing the work. And people talking to me, they'll, Amanda, you've gone woo-woo. You're a bit strange. You're talking about energetics and energy and flowing and traumas and releasing. And I cannot reiterate enough. It is the main thing you need to deal with in order to be successful. You're not going to be successful if you don't deal with these loops that are not closed.
I love that you've said that, because we live 95% of our life unconscious. And, until we're firstly, number one, aware that, hey, life can be different. We get the bus that kind of hits us, or the stone, and then to work on it, because our business can only evolve as much as we do. So if we're continuing with our beliefs that we've literally hardwired in our neurosystem, and we're so clever by doing that, it's just like, oh, she loves living like this, so we're going to keep her going. And it's not until we realize that it's, hang on, let's do some different modalities. So I love that you've mentioned different modalities. There's some somatic work, getting into the body, some breath work, energetic work, and physical work and mindset work. There's all these different holistic ways we can help ourselves. And the name of the game is literally just to get the trauma out and the healing in.
Yeah, basically. I'm, as an example, you're driving your car home and next minute you're somewhere else. You're at your old house because it's how your unconscious works.
Yes.
That's the same with everything.
Yes.
Like with your unconscious, you literally live unconsciously, and you get to where you're going without realizing how you got there. And until you actually stop and think and work on it consciously, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And that's the what's that quote? It's the iteration of stupidity, is to keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. You're not
Einstein.
Einstein. I don't know. I know all this knowledge, and I know where it's come from. So having the ability to actually link the knowledge base that I've got to the person who actually said it in the first place.
Incredible. And it's so true, though, if we keep doing the same thing. The thing is, sometimes when we're not aware or we don't have a coach or mentor to share that with us, unfortunately, we just think that that's our personality or that's just how life is. And some people literally die not knowing any different.
Yeah. And unfortunately, friends and family and everybody don't assist with that, because I was the same. Everybody used to say, oh, that's just Mandy. That's what Mandy's like. That's what that's just Mandy. And I allowed that label to just stay there. Well, it's just who I am. That's how my brain works. That's what I do. I don't have to think about it. It's part of my personality. It actually bloody wasn't. It was part of my conditioning.
Yes. Oh, that's so powerful. And look at how incredibly you've reconditioned yourself, because the inner work that we do on ourselves is the hardest work we'll ever do. It's hard to look deep down, isn't it?
It's not fun. And I've got pictures of me at retreats where I am literally screaming with anger.
Yes.
Because it's confrontational.
Yes.
Very hard to trust somebody enough to drop in that deep and allow that trauma out. And at the same time, if you don't do it, it eats away at you. It eats away at you. I've done a lot of work recently, and I was talking to somebody the other day saying, I've done this, I've worked on this. Why is this coming up for me again? It's always going to come up. You're never going to be perfect. If you've got nothing coming up for you, then you're denying something. You're
absolutely
not right. You're going to always have something different to work on all the time. You are never going to be perfect, whatever the hell.
No, there's always going to be an extra layer of the onion. And yes, as we grow and we heal, we can feel more fulfilled, more happy. Like you've got rid of, a lot of the stuff in your life, and it gives you a new sense of feeling. And then every new level has a new devil. So the next one it gives it room to pop up from the core, doesn't it?
Yeah, very much so. I was talking to one of my coaches the other day, and she was helping me unpick something. And basically she unpicked it to the point I was like, oh my gosh, it's my dad again. It's my dad again. I thought I dealt with that. Okay, let's deal with this now. So there's always something, and it's different. It's never the same, because you deal with things and you put them away, and they're in the past. You leave them there.
Absolutely.
Your future, but then occasionally something comes up differently, and these things come back again and again to make sure you've learnt your lesson and
yes,
see how you treat them. like my issues surrounding my mother, those seem to be gone. I don't have women coming into my life anymore that remind me of my mother. So I seem to have dealt with those effectively because
Wow.
they're not coming back to challenge me. Or if they do, I'm obviously dealing with them effectively. So next problem.
Yeah, I love that you've shared that, because sometimes when we think we've dealt with something and it pops up again, like when I talk to some of my clients, they think that they've failed at learning the lesson or that it's not normal. And it could be such a completely different topic that's linked to a past wound. We're never going to get rid of problems. Like, life is full of problems and challenges. It's who we need to become to overcome them.
It's the part of being human.
Yes.
Being human, we all have lessons to learn in life, and if we have no lessons to learn in life, then we're going to be bored stupid. We're in this world to learn and to grow and to challenge ourselves. If you're comfortable, you're going to die early because you're not challenging, you're not changing. You have to be uncomfortable in order to change and grow and develop and learn about what life's about. Ultimately, my top values are happiness, connection, and freedom. So as long as whatever it is I'm doing gives me happiness, and that includes other people's happiness, and as long as I have that connection in my way and as and how I enjoy getting that connection, and the freedom to then have adventures, and it could be an adventure to the local vineyard. It doesn't have to be massive adventures, but just memories and adventures and freedom. Then I'm a happy girl.
Beautiful.
I know my values. How many other people in the world could actually say these are my top values? Not very many.
Not many.
Doing them at school and doing them regularly.
We should be doing a lot at school.
I'll get off that.
But do you know what? I love that you've said that. It's knowing your values, and especially as a business, knowing our CEO values, knowing our business values, understanding what our team's values are so we can link it with what they're doing.
Yeah. I know, because I've done the work and I'm a coach. If we are going against our values, wherever in life that is, even if you don't know what your values are, if you're doing something or your business goes against it, your friends go against it, your marriage goes against your values, then you're going to do everything you can to destroy whatever it is that's going against your values. And people don't realize this. Whereas if you know what your values in life are, what your business values are, what your team's values are, when you know that, you can understand why your team isn't happy at the moment, because I'm violating their values right now. So how can we work to make sure maybe we need to move them into a different role? What do we need to do to ensure that we're all living within our values? Those are values that are innate. We've learnt them from little, and we can't violate them, because we will try and destroy whatever it is that's violating them.
And one rotten fruit spoils the bunch, doesn't it? So, and sometimes as a leader, we create that because we don't have an understanding of our team.
Yeah. Sometimes leaders seem to feel that they're doing their best that they possibly can, and that their team should all be happy. And they're doing the best with their knowledge at the moment. And if their team are not happy, then you need to find out why your team are not happy, and going in, getting a coach or a mentor or a consultant to come in and work with you all and work out even your DISC, doing a DISC profile on everybody, so you know how everybody thinks differently to you, going in and working out everybody's values, so you know that you're actually supporting those values as opposed to violating them, and understanding your team. Especially now that we're getting, is it Gen X? Who's coming after the millennials? I can't remember. Whoever's coming after the millennials, they will not allow their values to be violated. So you need to change the way that you're leading, because you will end up with no team. They will not stay. And I don't blame them. I think all kudos to them. I wish I did it years ago. And didn't work somewhere that made me horrendously unhappy because my values were being violated. It's even more important now
Absolutely.
Understand your team and to work with your team's strengths and to make sure that they are happy.
I love that advice, and so wise as always. And Amanda, I would love to know, do you have any parting wisdom words? You've given us so much already. Do you have parting wisdom for our listeners today?
Work out your value. Work out what your values are and make sure that you are living within those values, and be true to yourself. Put yourself first and make sure that you are your top priority. Self-care is the most important thing as a business, as a human being. Human being, bugger the business owners, but as a human being, understanding self-care, putting yourself first so that you can show up for everybody else in your best way possible, and understanding what your values are so that your life, your business, your home, your marriage, your friendships, all are in alignment with that, and you will be happy and have an amazing life.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so honored to have you. What amazing wise words, as always. And if anyone wants to connect with Amanda, I'm going to have her details under YouTube and under this podcast where you can connect with her. So thank you so much once again, Amanda, and I really look forward to connecting soon.
Thank you. Take care. Thanks, Dana. Bye, lovely.